wouldn't ask Delia to put her life on hold any longer. Lilly closed the front door behind her and double-checked that it was locked. She hated that she had to worry about that, but she did. Curiosity had led more than a few tourists up her front path and into her front hall this past summer without an invitation. She found it disconcerting, to say the least. She'd taken to locking her front door to make sure that her privacy was just that, her privacy. She suspected most of the folks had wanted to get to the back of the house to see her famous gardens, but they never got that far. Thankfully, because her house was so old that no building codes were adhered to, there was no way to get to the back of the house from the side yards. From the street, to the left, there was a large greenhouse, butted right up against her neighbor Roddy Lydon's fence. To the right, her driveway ran all the way to the back of the house, dipping down to a large stone wall at the end. There were no stairs up the stone wall and into the backyard. You had to get to the backyard through the garage, which Lilly and Delia kept closed. Lilly enjoyed her privacy almost as much as she enjoyed working in her gardens. Almost. She had invited folks over in May for a garden party, and that had turned out to be quite the event for a number of reasons, not the least of which was when her friend Tamara got pushed into the koi pond, and the late Merrily Frank pilfered a family treasure. What a chain of events that party had started. Still, she was considering inviting people over for a fall open house. But with Delia leaving, Lilly wasn't sure she was up to planning the party on her own. Not that she would have to. Her friends, Tamara O'Connor and Ernie Johnson, would be more than happy to help. But she wasn't going to mention it to them until she committed to the idea herself. Once they had the possibility of a party in their heads, it would be hard to dissuade them. As Lilly turned to the right to head towards the center of town, she paused for a moment outside Roddy Lydon's house. She halfway hoped he would be outside working on his front garden. Not that it needed the work. But he wasn't. She hadn't seen Roddy for a couple of days, which was a long time for them. Since he'd moved in, especially since all that happened in May, they talked or texted practically every day. She made a mental note to give him a call later, when she got home. Lilly walked down Washington Street towards the center of town, a rotary around which most of Goosebush drove at least once a week, if not daily. The rotary was sometimes referred to as the Wheel, since it was the retail center of town. The businesses directly on the Wheel had all been there for years, though not in their present states. Most, except for the post office, were now serving a different purpose. Lilly's destination, the Star Cafe, was a prime example of a repurposed storefront. While she was growing up, the Star had been a Woolworth. The original store was 4 stories tall, with a brick facade, tall tin ceilings, worn wooden floors, and complete with an ice cream bar in the front and a cafeteria in the back. Stan Freeland had taken over the building after it had been underused for many years. He turned it into a bookstore and cafe in the front, and a restaurant and bar in the back. On the second floor there was a theater space. The top 2 floors were used for storage and some artist workspaces. Stan was young, but had a vision for the building he was determined to see realized. As far as Lilly could tell, he was successful. The Star was always packed. Lilly walked in and looked to her right. She gave Stella Haywood a small wave and a smile and looked to her left. Stella was the youngest sister of Bash Haywood, the chief of police for Goosebush. Lilly had known Stella forever, and was pleased that the younger woman had found a good job at the Star. After a few fits and starts, Stella was finally on a solid path. Miranda and Braden were both there already, and Stan had brought them a pot of tea. She took a deep breath before she walked over to them. "Have fun," Stan whispered to her as